Welcome, everyone, to the Business Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and business leaders in our community. I'm your host, Craig Whipperman with Music City Action Coach, and today we're excited to introduce to you someone who's blazing a trail in the area of event design and production here in Nashville. Our guest today is Laurie Hardman, owner of Laurie D'anne Events. We'll dive into Laurie's background, explore the challenges she's faced and the successes she's celebrated. Whether you're a fellow entrepreneur, an aspiring business owner, or simply someone who loves to support local businesses, this conversation is sure to inspire and inform. So without further ado, let's welcome Laurie to the podcast. Laurie, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for being a guest.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, we're excited to learn a little bit more about Laurie and Laurie D'anne Events. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how did Laurie D'anne Events come where it's at?
Yeah, so I moved to Nashville in 1998. My original plan was to come here and be a singer, but I quickly realized the music industry business and how it operated, and realized that that was probably not something that I wanted to put everything into and just keep singing as a hobby. So I came here, and I have 25 years of management experience prior to event planning. And when I originally started event planning was in 2007, and I had no experience. And I was doing a graduation party for my daughter. They had a really big friend group, and so I got with 10 other parents, and we pulled together, and we were going to do this graduation party at what is now Margaritaville. Used to be called the Global Cafe in that time. And at the time, they had an event planner there that would help with people who book the venue. And so the girl that was doing the booking for me said, "Hey, she's looking for to hire someone if that's something you're interested in." So I had not done that, but I had definitely planned a ton of experiential events on a smaller scale. So I reached out to her, and she was really looking for someone who could roll out a red carpet event. And I hadn't done that. So, but we really clicked. So she was like, "If you want to come hang out with me on an event, we'd love to have you, and you can just kind of see what it's all about." So that first event was a rollout for a movie premiere for Elizabethtown, and it was in downtown Franklin. She shut down the streets and pulled out the red carpet, and I was there for that and fell in love with it. Of course, very enamored, and was like, "Okay, I want to do this." So I continued to communicate with her and became a project manager for her for the CMA after parties. So I started out as a project manager with this company, and after about 6 months, actually after my first CMA night, she was like, "You were made to do this." And so then we proceeded, and I ended up hiring me to be full time. So I really just learned by experience, learned with sitting next to her. There was no real training for this. It was just literally do what I do. And so it took about a year, honestly. And even when I hire people, I tell them, give yourself some grace. It's going to take about a year to really wrap your mind around it, because there's so many moving parts. So I worked with her for 6.5 years. And by the time I left the company, I was producing 50 events a year myself on my own, with a small support team. And what I found at that time is that doing that many events with me being the sole lead, as I was losing some of what I love the most, which was really the connection with the client and spending more time with them, because it became very much where you just had to move on to the next thing as quick as possible. So I realized, though this was my passion and there was nothing else I'd rather do, I was going to need to build my own company so that I could develop that the way I saw that I wanted to do it. So that was, I gave a year notice because I wanted to take care of all the clients that I had on the books and jumped off from there. And so I started my own company in 2013.
Wow, so that's pretty awesome. You gave her a whole year.
I
Um,
did. It's because of the relationship with those clients. Like, I didn't want to leave them hanging. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to finish what's on the books and go from there.
that's fantastic. So you mentioned that you spent 25 years, is that right, in restaurant management?
Yeah, it wasn't all management. I worked my way up. So I started
Okay.
young and started in restaurant, and then the last 10 years was management.
Yeah. Fast food or full
Well,
service.
it's like everybody probably has that, fast food. Mine was Pizza Hut. So that's where I started, with Pizza
Okay.
Hut, and within a couple years, became a shift manager, and then just kind of worked my way up. And then I moved into Darden Restaurants, which is Red Lobster, Olive Garden, all of those, and then ended up with PF Chains.
Okay, great. Wow, you had a full gamut of experience then.
Yeah.
Tell me, how does event management compare and contrast to restaurant management?
Yeah. Well, it's really all about the experience, as far as there's a lot more to event planning than that. But when you're talking about the day of and everything coming, it's attention to detail. It's being able to look around the room and see what needs to be done, or if everyone's happy, and problem solving and managing a team and all of that. So there's a lot of moving parts that are very similar to the day of in running. It's just with restaurant, every day's a new day. You're starting a new day. And with events, it's a little bit different because you're planning for 6 months to a year. It comes to fruition, and then you're working on a different event.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty
But
cool.
the skill set from restaurant management, I've even noticed when I've hired people that have the restaurant management or restaurant experience, just being able to anticipate people's needs and things like that have been very beneficial.
Yeah, I've told my kids, man, if you really want a taste of the world, go be a waitress at
Yeah.
a restaurant because you're kind of you get instant feedback and
Yes.
you really have to be on your toes.
You do.
And you have to be, be wearing a smile and, make those people that you're serving think that they're the only people you're serving.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
good job. So yeah, I think it really takes a lot to be a waitress. And then for somebody to, manage not only the waitresses, but also the kitchen staff and the operations,
Yeah.
that's no small feat, it's,
Yeah.
it's not. And anyway, so
It,
tell
it's
me,
very rewarding though too. I loved it as well. It was great.
yeah,
Then go ahead.
yeah. So how many people do you have on your team now?
Right now we have a contracted labor team that is we have five, and we pretty much always have two salaried employees.
I see. Okay. Um, if bear with me here 1 second.
Okay.
Um, so tell me that again. You've got five.
Yes, people that work with us on a regular basis that are subcontractors, and then but they're part of our team, we feel like, and then we have salaried employees, two salaried employees.
Two salaried
Mhm.
employees. And are their roles the same as the contracted?
No, no, the contractors are going to be on site. And so, because when we're on site, I want to have plenty of people to make sure that everything runs as smooth as silk. And so we need a team. And so these people have been trained by us and know what the expectations are, and they're really good at what they do. So
I
they're just
see.
not in the office working, throughout the planning process. They're on site, kind of project managers, basically, or directors.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me this, Laurie, when you during that first year
Mhm.
business, to what I'm sure what was going through your mind, like you had said, I think I need to do this on my own so I can do it the way I want it to be done. What was the biggest surprise to you when you stepped out on your own?
Well, I knew very well how to plan an event, to cost it out, like all the elements of the actual event. But my where I had a kind of a awakening is like, how do you get the clients? That was my thing. It's like, how do I get the clients? I know how to do this, but how do I get the clients? So that was very the first big challenge for me. So when I left, I wasn't, of course, wasn't booking. I was not booking clients for my own self until I left. So when
Hmm.
I left, that was just like the first thing. I had one client that was in Boston, outside of Boston. So I did her wedding, and then here I sat with no clients and just didn't really know how I was going to get them. And so I had a bit of a moment. I sat down in the middle of my floor and just had a little bit of a cry session. And then I realized, because I didn't have a big savings either, and I didn't have, when you have a, brick and mortar and you have those, so you go get a business loan, you have a business plan and all of those kind of things. But because it was a service-based business, I really didn't have that to get a loan. So I really was relying on my own finances. And so I realized, I had gotten to where I drained my emergency fund and all of those things. And I literally decided I can go back to what I was doing with restaurant, make a decent salary, or I can do this. And so I decided that I would get up and sell all my furniture and basically liquidate anything that I possibly could to sustain me to continue this. And so I had a corporate client that I'd worked with before, and she said, when I get married, I want you to do my wedding. And so it was probably 3 days after that turning point for me. She reached out, she found me and booked me. And so that was like my very first client on my own. And it was awesome because it just got my head out of that space of being worried. And so I just started doing what I do best and planned her wedding. And little by little, then I had, at the time, Andy Marshall, who owns Puckett's, had just purchased a venue out in Thompson Station. And he was going to make it a restaurant. But when he took it, there were like 12 events on the books. And he's like, we don't have staff that knows how to do this. Do you want them? I was like, of course. So I immediately had 12 after that. And then the rest is history. It just kept coming. It just put one foot in front of the other. And little by little, we just gained all these events as we grew.
That's fantastic. So, how did Andy know that I'm assuming you knew Andy. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's pretty cool. He just, so
Yeah.
the 12, and you already had a venue booked, I assume, right? You just kind of
Yes.
stepped and
Yeah.
managed.
Yes. Correct.
That is so cool. That is
Yeah.
so awesome.
Very nice.
Um, it is funny how your mind gets into a space and it's like, number one, how does your mind get there? It's like what you tell yourself I've heard this before, what you tell yourself about yourself when you're by yourself matters, and
It does.
it's funny how, once your surroundings change and you get a little bit of momentum going, you can really make a difference. But
It makes a huge difference. And I think really just believing in yourself, especially if you know this is what you're supposed to do. Like I knew there was nothing else I would rather do than produce events. I had had now this experience of producing probably about 300 events or more with the other company. And I just knew that the passion was there. And so I knew I could do it. And I just had to just trust, you know,
right,
trust.
and must through it, right?
Yes. And surround
um,
yourself with other people who've been there. That's probably been a really big thing for me over the years is that I really look through whether it was in person or finding a podcast that was on business or anything like that and just listen to other people's stories and how, I hear so many entrepreneurs that started with nothing and they just bootstrapped it and, did it. And I'd always look and I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And so
yeah,
that was made a huge difference for me.
exactly. So generating leads
Yeah.
was your biggest prize, and you generated some momentum. And I'm assuming now the majority of your business probably comes from referrals. Is that right?
It does. Yes, we definitely do a little bit of advertising. Obviously social has evolved so much over the past 10, 12 years. I don't feel like it was as big at that time when I first started. And so everything was word of mouth. And
Mhm.
so now we've really have a great following on social. And then we also just the Google reviews are so important. And we have 5-star on that and just, other people's referrals, venue referrals, I think that's the other thing is you have to make sure that wherever you are, you're always representing your business. So
Yeah,
when you're in these venues, it's like I was raised and I have a belief system is you always leave something better than the way you found it. And so I always felt that way with the venues. I would stay to the very end till the last person was gone because I wanted to make sure everything was perfect for the venue as well. And we get a lot of referrals from venues, which is really nice. So other people.
cool. Tell me what your aspirations are for the business.
Well, I really would like to grow it to a point where I'm only doing design. Design is my favorite part, running the business, designing, building the relationships with the clients. And that is where that is my strongest that's what I bring to the table that I feel I'm the strongest at. I am kind of one of those people that are both left brain and right brain. So I'm very organized and very and detail oriented, but at the same time, creativity and being able to sit with someone and hear their vision and then be able to produce that and collaborate with them to even make it bigger than what they even thought it could be is really where I feel like I shine the most. And I love that part. So building our team so that we are having more designers and planners so that I can really focus on those bigger events, those luxury bigger events, and that some of our, team handle others.
Right. And so that's the hurdle, is getting designers and planners in place so you can realize your ultimate dream, I guess.
Yeah, unique ability, they call it, I suppose. Um, yes, and yeah, it's, the next stage when you scale is finding the right person for the right seat, and everybody talks about that, but it is a real thing and it's hard to know sometimes until the person's there. And so thankfully, I've gotten some amazing girls that have just really shined, but it takes a minute as a business owner to trust too,
Mhm. Yeah.
that they're going to pull it off the way I would. So it's great.
Um, what's the biggest challenge for you in your space now, and as
As
an
the
owner of?
industry, as far as the industry goes, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that I think this last couple of years have been odd with, election year and being last year, and then just as we go in the world, the dynamics of the world, I think that's had some impact on business as a whole. But I would say that right now, I'm sorry, what go back. What was the actual question? I apologize.
Challenge to the industry
Oh, to the
right now.
industry. Yes, yes. So there's that. And then people are evolving. We've had a lot of people move to Nashville too, which is awesome as our city grows and everything. But also I think some people, some of the industry is restructuring. So it's always evolving and staying in tune with what is the latest the way people are business model and how they're, a lot of venues are in housing an event planner coordinator. And so
Mhm.
that is different. So we have to really differentiate ourselves as a designer, a planner, and your person throughout this process versus the venue that comes with an event coordinator because they're very
I,
different. So for us, it's really, I find that we need more and more to really talk about the differentiations between the two.
yeah. And so that's you're running into the location having an events planner on staff to
Correct.
that's your primary competition, I guess. Is that right? Is
Yes.
that what I'm?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so
On the onset, it's not in the big picture, but on the onset, it's really hard for the consumer to know what's the difference. And so we have
yeah,
to really be good at explaining what the difference is and the value.
right. And so that is part of your I would imagine part of your sales process then, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Um, would you say your business is price driven or value driven?
Definitely value driven in the
Mm.
sense that I always want to bring to the most to the table for the money that someone's spending. And I want to look at the vision and figure out where is there, room here where we could do something different that would be more cost effective, that would not compromise the overall aesthetic or, so I'm always working with my clients to that. We back into everything in the sense of like we design it the way they envision, and then we back into it and talk through all those things. So value is, I don't want to take a client that doesn't have them, that doesn't want to spend the money it's going to take to be able to produce the vision. But once we're in it, I want to wow them for what they're spending.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that is a great that is a great way to do it. And so you have to target the right people. How do
Correct.
you share with me? Do your clients or prospects do you find them like maybe looking at a couple or three different options as it relates to event planning, or are they kind of already sold on you when they come?
We have both. We have some that just found us on Google and they just need to hear about the business and what we do and how what they can expect from if they hire us. So you have that, and then you have others that, a friend used them, or a mother of the bride talked to her friend and they used us. And so a lot of it does come with like, we definitely want you to plan our wedding. So
Okay,
yeah.
great. And so how's this year been for you?
Sure, it's been good. It's been, again, because people book 6 months to a year out, we're kind of feeling a little bit of the repercussion of last year being a little quieter. So, but as we look into 2026, it's fantastic. So we're excited.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so I would imagine, how much of your business is weddings?
70%.
Yeah.
So we do some corporate events, and I would love to do more. We just kind of taken what's come based on inquiries coming in. So we are focusing a little bit more on attaining more corporate clients. We're working with a corporation right now that actually we did their son's wedding. So they were like, we need you for this corporate event that we have coming up. So some of it's that, some of it's past clients, corporate clients that we just do every year. So we are in the market to target more corporate events.
Yeah. And so do you have a plan for how you go about marketing in that space? It's a little bit different, I guess, than referrals in the wedding
Yeah,
uh, space.
it's definitely different. I mean, when you're working with a corporate client, it's more you're supporting and giving your expertise at the same time. It's just, and you are with wedding, but it's different because corporate has a vision that they want as well, but they have a set budget, what they want to spend. I always have to laugh because corporations will, and I did, this was the same in the music industry. They'll cut everything back to fit the vision, to fit the budget, and then, and then at the end, we're adding everything back that they cut out in the beginning. Because they really want it, but they got to get that number to start with. So, yeah, so you're
Right.
working a lot more with numbers in a different way than you do with weddings.
Say that again, Laurie. I missed that.
You're working a lot more with the numbers when you're dealing with
Oh,
corporate and than
yeah.
you are with a wedding. A wedding has an idea of what they want to spend, and then it evolves based on what they really want.
Yeah. Right. 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 Well, and of course, in a wedding, it's a lot of more emotion involved, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it is the day, right? It is the day that, dad wants to make sure the daughter is extremely happy and the daughter is extremely, anxious. And I would imagine you in that role, sometimes you probably have to play the role of therapist,
Yes,
maybe.
we say that all the time. That is one of our hats. Especially when you have we have some clients that, I would say our average client is somewhere between 25 and 35. So some of them are corporate couple that are doing all the planning themselves, and we're really supporting and working with them directly. And some want both sets of parents involved. And so you're really balancing a lot of different personalities. And our goal is to make sure that everyone feels heard and everyone gets what they want,
Hmm.
and sitting in those. Then I think I do feel like talking through everything and really listening and then coming back with a solution that makes everybody happy is something that, is also a unique ability because it takes a little bit of patience and you got to be a really good listener.
Without question. Yeah. And I'm sure that's pretty satisfying to you in your role to kind of be able to put smiles on a bunch of different stakeholders' faces, right?
Yes, I love it. I mean, I love it. Obviously, the bride and the groom, when they walk in the room and seeing it is amazing. But when dads come back, because, the dads are the ones that are writing the checks a lot of times. So, they're always like, what are we doing? And they usually don't come into play until the last probably 3 months when the checks are being written. And I've had multiple dads just say, I wouldn't do it any other way. It was worth every penny. It was amazing. And that's the thing, is like you know, it's people are spending a lot of money, and at the end of the day, I want them to feel like it was worth every bit.
Yeah.
And so that just like I just get goosebumps even talking about it because it just makes me
That's
so.
awesome. That's that is just awesome. Well, so Laurie, thanks for being a guest. We're coming down the home stretch here. Just got a couple more questions
Okay.
for you, if that's okay. Yeah. One, is there a book that you've read recently, or maybe one a long time ago, that's maybe served as a foundation for you in your journey here, or maybe is there a mentor or some other author or someone that you've looked up to that's provided guidance to you here in your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, there's so many. I mean, I listen to a ton of podcasts myself and am just always listening to people. I want to hear the story. I want to hear how they made it, how it happened and what they did. But one book that I read recently that I really like is the 10x is easier than 2x. And it's
Hmm.
really just that mindset of the way you approach a goal that is 10 times where you are right now versus 2 times is completely different. And so even if you don't hit that 10 times, whatever it is, 10 times the client, 10 times the revenue, whatever that is, even if you don't hit it, you're going to come a lot further than you would if you just planned on 2 times whatever that is. And so
Right.
that has just thinking big, it really
Yeah,
impacted me.
that's awesome. Yeah, that is a great book. And then lastly, tell me what you're most proud of in your business or in your journey.
I'm most proud of the journey, first of all, just continuing to put one foot in front of the other, and then happy clients. I mean, it really, there's just something when you read the Google reviews or the parents come back a year later, because we always do, for our brides and grooms, we do an anniversary cake. So we always see them on their first anniversary. And just to hear them say, people are still talking about the wedding. People are still, it was the best day of our life. And that is just, it just makes me feel like I made a difference in their life. And I love that. And so I'm really proud of those moments for
Yeah,
sure.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Laurie, thank you so much for being a guest. Congratulations on your business and your journey. And we'll look to see more of you here in the near future. How's that?
Awesome. Thank you so much.